Today I want to talk about the Wealthfront Stock Investing account. Now, I did a video on this about a year and a half ago when it was released in March of 2023. Now I want to do an updated video to show what has changed, what new features they have, tips, tricks, and issues that I've had with it so far. Okay, I did this video in March of 2023. By November, they mentioned that they have more ETFs available now. They added QTech, which is a NASDAQ 100 tech sector index. They also added USFR, the Wisdom Tree Floating Rate Treasury Fund. This is a floating rate treasury, and I'm very familiar with this because I've bought it many times for basically storing money, and it's very tax efficient. And this one has probably the least amount of duration risk, probably even less than SGov. Another one that I buy a lot for idle cash is SGov, which is the iShares 0 to 3 month Treasury Bond ETF. Now this has a really low fee, even less than this. They perform almost identically. I think USFR may do slightly better, but not that big of a deal. Either one of these are very good. They also added XYLD, which is a covered call ETF. They also added RYLD, which is another covered call ETF. They added JEPQ, which is sort of related to JEPI, which is a equity premium income ETF. It's a covered call ETF. They also added DEVO, which is a covered call ETF with the high dividend yield. They added another one here, the FTCS, which is a NASDAQ Capital Strength Index. And they added a uranium one below, URA. Now, these are not the only ones they've added. I've actually found one more that they added. They also added QQQM. When I looked for QQQM last time, this wasn't available. This is basically the same as the regular QQQ, which is the NASDAQ 100, but it's a cheaper version. It's a slightly lower expense ratio. So they've added this one. Here's a list updated March 27, 2024. ETFs available for investing accounts with Wealthfront. These are all the ETFs that Wealthfront Stock Investing has available. They have the ARK funds that were so popular a while back. ARK Innovation ETF right here. They have a variety of different regional ones. JP Morgan Beta Builders Canada, Japan. Now let's just search for Vanguard ones. Okay, let's see what they have. They have the Vanguard Total Bond Fund, Total International, Short-Term Bond, Mega Cap ETF, Small Cap Growth, Europe, Vanguard FTSE Europe, Long-Term Treasury, Dividend Appreciation ETF, Mid Cap Value, Total Stock Market ETF, VTI. They also have the Vanguard Growth ETF, VUG. They also have an International High Dividend Yield ETF. Okay, let's see what they have with iShares. They have a Emerging Markets Dividend ETF, a bunch of regional ones, Chile, China, Denmark, EAFE Value and Growth. Okay, they have a lot of regional ones, but they also have a iShares Bitcoin ETF. Now, one that they don't have that really surprised me still, the last time I did a video, I looked for VGT, which is the Vanguard. Last time I looked for VGT, which is the Vanguard Information Technology ETF. Unfortunately, they don't have it. So they still haven't added that one. Yet they have the Vanguard Mega Cap, which is a much smaller one. This is like 6 billion. The other one's about 10 times the size. So it's not related to size. I think it's related to overlap. They don't want to have too much overlap. Now, if we go back to the list of all the ETFs, we will see VGT when we search for it. Now, this is a list of alternative ETFs. This is a list of alternatives. This is the one that they have, XLK. So they basically see these as equals or pretty similar. So XLK is the Technology Select Sector SPDR fund. And it is a tech fund, but it's not exactly the same. And I still think VGT is better. If we do a comparison between VGT here on the left and XLK, they have different indexes. So VGT has 320 holdings. XLK has 69 holdings. So right there, I'm sort of leaning towards VGT. And they're both weighed very heavily towards the top. Most of the top 3, 4, 5 positions are like 40 or 50% of the portfolio. Now, if we look at the performance of VGT has been a little bit better. When we look at the year to date, around 13.5% versus 9. The yearly performance has been a little better, 23 versus 19. A 3-year return's a little bit better on XLK, but when we look at the volatility with XLK is much higher, 172% versus 148. You look at all these numbers, XLK has fewer stocks, so it's more volatile. That's why I still prefer VGT. Let's look at the interface. Now, the interface of Wealthfront Stock Investing is pretty much the same as before. I don't really notice anything drastically different. It looks identical to me after a year and a half. You have all the collections available to choose from. You have some newly added ones, I guess, right here. Supply chain management, international exposure, cash flow king, autonomous ride hailing, housing boom, the Magnificent Seven. It's the 7 largest in the S&P 500, I believe. Another thing that I noticed that I didn't notice last time is there's a special feature here. Go to the settings and we go to restrictions. We scroll down below where it says restrictions and you go to stock restrictions. You can see a option here to add stocks that you don't want to trade that are restricted from trading to this list. Now, I tried adding this as a multiple. So like, let's say you could add, a bunch of stocks like this, but unfortunately it doesn't work like that. You've got to add each one individually as far as I can tell. Okay, let's add, I've cleared it right now. Let's add one. So let's just add NVIDIA for fun. Okay, so now we have NVIDIA listed under the blocked stock list. Now, I think the reason for this list would be a couple of reasons I can think of. Let's say you have a large position already, or let's say you have a stock in an IRA perhaps, and you don't want to double up on a stock. So let's say you've got a large position in NVIDIA. You don't want to buy more NVIDIA when you've already got some already. Or you just don't like the stock at all, or perhaps you have some type of moral or ethical objections about buying stock in a particular company. Now let's see what happens now that we blocked NVIDIA. Don't forget to subscribe. It really helps the channel, and please press that thumbs up button. As we can see here, there's NVIDIA is listed as a top holding for a lot of these. So let's just pick the first one, semiconductor leaders, and let's try to make an investment in this. So we don't see any warnings yet about NVIDIA, but let's select invest in 10, continue. Okay, now we see how would you like to spend. It's got it divided evenly, and we hit review. Okay, now we see a warning message here. Heads up, one or more of these assets are on your restricted list for your automated investing accounts. To view your list, head to profile settings, stock restrictions. So there you go. So that's what it does. Now, I did discover some downsides that I wasn't really aware of before. For example, if we select a basket of stocks to invest in and we select invest, initially, when we select invest and we put in our amount, we have the option to change the percentage. We could actually change the percentage and customize it for each one. However, after this has been done, we can't actually change it. So once we own these stocks, you can't actually change it. You would have to individually sell each of these or buy in order if you wanted to have equal allocation for each once they get out of whack. If you wanted to have the same percentage in each, if one of these stocks takes off over time, you would have to manually buy or sell each of these stocks to equalize the percentages if you wanted to have equal percentages. Whereas with something like M1 Finance, you just press rebalance, and with one button you can rebalance. I'll show you an example here. Okay, so I did one today just to try it out. I bought 2 stocks. It's under test here. So it's Dollar General and Invesco QQQM. I didn't invest much money. It's just a test. Now, if we look at this here and we click on this, you click view details or anything, there's no way to change the percentages. This is not an option that's available. So if we wanted to change the percentages here, we can't do that. You'd have to basically invest more or sell something. Now we could still invest more. We can keep adding money to this. So this is what I've kind of figured out. We could do another investment, and then at that point, once we have the investment, we can change the percentages. So if we wanted to even it out, on the reinvestment, we could change it here. The stuff that is already owned, you can't change it. We have to basically buy or sell like I'm doing now. Okay, what else did I learn? After having Wealthfront Stock Investing account for a year and a half, what else have I learned? Well, I've learned that it's a little bit different than most brokerages, and some things seem a lot more difficult at first, but they're not really so bad. So for example, this Western Alliance one that I have shares in, I can select this. I can see all of the dividends received right here, which is pretty easy and pretty nice to see this. But for sold shares, I believe I have to look somewhere else. So we can look two spots for that. We can go to, if we go up here at the top and we click on this, if I want to see the stocks that I sold, I select the stock investing account and I select the time period. And you can see that I just did the investment today, the stuff that I bought and the price. And you'll see the transaction type. So the investment, now here's the thing that I noticed. So if you look here, this will actually change. So this is the last 30 days, transaction type. You have three options available: dividend received, investment, transfer. Okay, so where's sale? So this will actually change. If there's no sales available for this time range, you won't see it in the list. So these options will only appear if there's an option that was there. So since there's no sale within 30 days, you won't see that. Now, if I change this to 90 days, you still don't see it. But if I go to 6 months, now we go to 6 months, we see an option withdrawal. Now, if I click withdrawal, you can see that I sold some shares. So under April 1st, 2024, I sold my 60 stock collection for GM, and these were all stocks that were at the top of the S&P 500 in the 1960s. So I sold these. You can see the date, the shares, the value. So I thought that was kind of interesting. Now you see if I go to 2023, you won't see it again. That option is disabled because there's no sales at that point. So that's one place you can look at it, but you can also find it another place. If we scroll down to any of these stock collections that I have here under investments, and you click one of these, and you click on manage, you can see the cost basis. I like this how it's all in one spot. So you can see the cost of the shares, the market value, the unrealized gains or losses, and you can download it to a CSV file. And there's a link right here to the official documents tab if you want the official documents. You would think this would just be for WAL, Western Alliance, but if we select under here under report, it's sort of hidden. It's realized gains and losses. Now, this doesn't show realized gains or losses just for WAL. It shows all of them here. So when we select this, we see Ford, GM, AT&T, VOO, all of these ones that I've sold in the last year or so. So that's pretty neat too. So I think that's kind of convenient. So although there's no option where you can't search for a ticker like most brokerages have a thing where you can search by ticker and you could see, okay, when did I buy or sell Ford? When did I buy or sell GM? This doesn't have it, but it still seems fairly easy to find. The thing about the Wealthfront Stock Investing account is it's pretty much no frills. There's some nice features initially when you buy where you can select the percentages. However, there's no auto invest. If you wanted to buy $50 in this every week or $100, there's no option for auto reinvest. Unlike Fidelity, which in one click you could do auto invest. Now with Fidelity or Robinhood, we can do recurring investments very easily and there's no fee for that. And both of them probably have 6,000 plus stocks, whereas there's only 1,500 stocks with Wealthfront Stock Investing. Okay, you can see right here, this was updated in 2024. How many securities do you support for stock investing? We allow you to invest in over 1,500 stocks, ETFs, and REITs. 1,500 compared to probably over 7,000 with Fidelity and with Robinhood. So there's a big difference there. One of the positive things that I like about the Wealthfront Stock Investing account is there's basically no fees. So there's no fees for the slices or whatever Wealthfront calls it to have multiple stocks in one basket, whereas some companies like Fidelity will actually charge you for that. So if you want to have that, I believe they call it basket, Fidelity basket, whereas it's free with Wealthfront Stock Investing. And there's no payment for order flow. So Wealthfront accepts no payment for order flow, so the execution should be good. I also like the buying window better than M1 Finance. For example, the Wealthfront Stock Investing buy and sell window is between 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. So multiple times throughout the day, it can actually buy or sell. Whereas with M1, with the free account, I believe it's at the very beginning of the day. So I like this much better. And both times that I've purchased through Wealthfront Stock Investing, I believe it's been about 30 minutes. And we'll go check on that right now. So this investment that I made today, you can see that I scheduled it at 9:40 a.m. and it was executed at 10:05 a.m. So pretty decent. So I mean, if the market, I like this way better than M1 Finance, because if the market went really crazy and went down or up 10% and you're buying or selling, at least you're in a tight window here where you kind of know what's going on. Another thing I like is I can easily edit a portfolio to add a stock. So this one stock that I bought, Western Alliance, I can easily add more stocks to a portfolio. For example, if I hit add more investments, if I want to add Microsoft, add to portfolio, and now I also have Microsoft in the Western Alliance portfolio. So if I select invest now you see Microsoft and Western Alliance, and it's going to do 50% in each. So now if I just wanted to change this and I just wanted to go to Microsoft, I can move this to 100 and then move this down. And now the full $20 is going to Microsoft and none is going to Western Alliance. That's kind of nice. The first video I did, I complained about not being able to search for ticker symbols. For example, Coca-Cola, you would think would have a ticker symbol something like COL, but it doesn't. It has one KO. And I complained kind of that, if you type in KO, Coca-Cola should be near the top. Unfortunately, that problem still exists. So you basically have to type the full name and then it'll appear. So that hasn't changed. The search is still pretty much the same from what I can tell. It's not a big deal. It's just something you have to be aware of. And as far as the research, there's basically no research, just as before. You basically see the same thing as before: the low, the high, dividend yield, volume, market cap, and price earnings ratio. There's no financials. So you have to go to another website to do the research. Another thing I learned since last time is that you can transfer in and out from another brokerage to Wealthfront or from Wealthfront for no cost. There's no fee. Wealthfront doesn't charge a fee from importing from another brokerage or for sending out. And even if the stocks that you're importing from the other brokerage are not part of the 1500, they may still accept it. Now, some of them may have to be sold, such as mutual funds, foreign securities, etc. This is what the customer service said at Wealthfront. We typically allow you to transfer in stocks that we can hold, even if you are unable to invest in them directly through stock investing account. You can also decide to sell these stocks through Wealthfront, but you won't be able to invest in more shares. So for example, if you hold VGT, which Wealthfront doesn't support, or another stock that's not one of the 1500, you'll still be able to hold them, collect dividends on them, etc., and you'll be able to sell them. You just won't be able to buy more through Wealthfront. So I think that's kind of interesting. Those stocks can be transferred into a separate stock portfolio within your stock investing account. She also mentioned there's no fee for corporate actions. There's no fee for mergers and acquisitions, so that's good. If you've got hundreds of stocks and you've got one company or a couple companies to get acquired, Wealthfront is not going to charge you a fee for that like some brokerages like E-Trade. What else have I learned about the Wealthfront stock investing account? Well, there is no dividend reinvestment. So once you receive the dividends for a stock in Wealthfront stock investing, there is no option to have those dividends reinvested. Pretty much every brokerage has the option to reinvest dividends, but not the Wealthfront stock investing account. So please be aware of that. Thanks for watching. I hope you liked this video. If you like this video, please press that like button. Don't smash. Also, if you're not subscribed already, please press that subscribe button. If you want to sign up with the Wealthfront stock investing account, unfortunately, there's no promotions right now. But if you don't already have a Wealthfront cash account, I do still have the referral deal. If you sign up via my referral link, you'll get a 0.5% boost for 3 months. All you have to do is sign up via my link. Good deal. Also, I have a referral deal with Raisin where you can earn up to $200 by signing up with any other products. All you have to do is sign up via my link, sign up with any Raisin product. All the Raisin products are FDIC or credit union insured, and they have no hidden fees. Register your Raisin account, make an opening deposit of at least $5,000, and keep the balance of at least $5,000 for 90 plus days, and you'll get a $50 bonus. Deposit more, you get even more. You can get up to $200. Now, what kind of deal can you get? You can get a high yield savings product right now, 5.2%. If you want to lock in the interest rate before the Fed starts to cut rates, you could get a 12-month CD, 4.6%, or you could get a 9-month CD, 4.45%. So check for that link below.